So this is week 2 in our kettlebell weekly series. So today is going to be a double bell workout, but if you only have one bell at home or you only have one bell at the gym, you can absolutely use just one bell. But today we're going to do 2. So we're going to do some Z presses, so some seated presses. We're going to do some cleans. We're going to do some push-ups. We'll do a little bit of a complex here at the end. But first, we got to take 30 seconds here to start kind of talking about the warm-up. So we're just going to hinge a little bit. We're going to do some inchworms. We're going to get a little bit of rotation in, and we'll get some halos overhead. So we'll just start with a hinge. So if you're following along and you don't know what type of kettlebell to use, there's really 2 types. There is a competition bell, which from 8 kilogram all the way up to 48 kilogram, they're all the same size. So some of them have the little notches on the side that people use for competition. That's a great choice. And then you've got the non-competition bells, which as you go from the smallest size to the heaviest weight, they continually to get bigger, which are also great. But if you are brand new and you need a lighter bell, I would probably recommend a little bit of a competition bell, like an 8 kilogram bell here. So an 8 kilogram bell here, which is the same size as the 48, which allows you to practice more of the rack skills and the cleaning and the pressing, because the 8 kilogram non-competition is really, really small. And it's hard for, if you have bigger hands, to fit your hands into. So we'll just lunge a little bit. So I'm going to use 2 24s today. So a 24 kilogram bell, which is 53 pounds in each hand. Again, if you only have one bell, you can absolutely use one. I will walk you through how to do that. But ideally today is going to be done with 2 bells. We'll take it to an inchworm series. So we're going to walk out, we'll do some push-ups. We're going to do 3 push-ups every time we walk out. So we'll fold out, 3 straight elbows. We're going to track back. We'll walk it back up. And then if you struggle with your push-up, we'll take it all the way to the floor first. Your knees will stay down. From there, you'll drive up to this position and then all the way back up to your push-up. 2, 3. We're going to press overhead, so we want to make sure these shoulders are nice and warmed up. 1, 2, 3. We're just going to take it a little bit to a bounce. So we're going to bounce up and down, and I'm going to start using my hands. Skip my ankles. Lunge from side to side. So to stand tall, this foot can come off the ground if you needed to. Hinge back a little bit. All right, so we're just going to take it into our halo. So the halo is a little bit of shoulder mobility, a little bit of shoulder strength. So whatever bell you want, you're going to have it in basically this bottoms up position. So the elbows are down in front. We don't want them behind. And I'm going to turn my hat forward to this. When we go back, we're going to take the kettlebell back towards the ear. And then we're taking the bottom to the back of my neck. So far too often people get the bell and they just do this. They think about like an angel halo and have it above their head. You want to reach back towards the ear, allow the elbows to be high, and then the bell is low, and we're scooping almost the top of your traps all the way back to the opposite ear, and then you pull down. So from the front, ear, scoop, ear. You get a little bit of rotation, ear, scoop, ear. You don't have to go super heavy with this. You don't have to go super fast. From the side, again, ear, scoop, ear, ear, scoop, ear. And as you go overhead, we don't want to try to get our head out of the way. We want to stay tall. Ear, scoop, ear, scoop, ear. We're going to hold the bell here. Our thumbs are going to be wrapped around, as you can see. We don't want to have them just hanging out. Firm grip. We'll go back and forth a couple times. I know I'm moving a little faster. You don't have to move this fast. Let's get these bells with these shoulders really warmed up. You can start going this way if you want, the same direction, but I personally like going back and around. If you've ever used a mace, it's the same as like a shield cast, which is just using a mace around the shoulders. All right, we're just gonna we'll finish the warm up here with just some full range of motion squats. So to squat, hang out here for a second or two, shift from side to side, stand tall. So the first thing we're gonna do today is we are going to press from a seated position. It's gonna be a seesaw press. So these are gonna be our two big, this is gonna be our big strength movement of the day. It's gonna be our pressing overhead. We'll move in to some double cleans for a little bit of power. We will do some lateral lunging as well, and we'll finish with a little bit longer of a complex. So a little fun complex that we'll do for time. So if you have a box or a bench or anything that you can sit on, what we're gonna do is we're gonna find that. So we're not gonna go from the floor. So I'm gonna use my bench here. I'm gonna grab my bells. So we're gonna go for a total of 12 reps, which should look like six on each side. So the seesaw press, once I get them into this rack position with my elbow and my wrist completely stacked, I can start with one. I'm gonna press straight overhead. I want my bicep in line with my ear. I don't want to be leaning back, and I don't want my hand way out front. So this hand's gonna be stacked just like a tower from the shoulder to the wrist. And the seesaw happens as I pull down with one hand, the other hand they pass right in the middle, just like a seesaw, and they press overhead. So going about at this pace, we're going for a total of 12 reps. What we're looking for here is something you can do 12 times, but maybe not 15 times. So it's gonna be relatively heavy. If you have different sets of bells, whatever set of bells you have, it's perfectly fine to use. These are gonna be kind of heavy for me towards the end because we're gonna do 3 sets. So we're gonna hope I can get them all done. We're gonna try. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna clean these here. Elbows are down in front, got a nice firm grip. I wanna make sure my feet are into the ground, my glutes are tight, firm grip. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Put them down. Take a second or two. It'll take about 30 seconds. So we don't want to move too fast, and we want to move with control. Control, I think, is a better expression of strength than speed. You can mask a lot of flaw with speed if you're just moving so fast. It might look cool, but I think being able to control the weight is a much better way to show that you're actually strong than just moving as fast as possible. All right. Take a couple more seconds. Got the garage door, the back door open today. And the Blackbeard flag actually up. So we got that in the background. If you guys didn't know that, it's Blackbeard. Or Edward Teach or Edward Thatch, whichever school you believe in. North Carolina native. All right, set 2. We'll do it again. Clean them up. Sit down. Make sure glutes are tight. 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right. Whew. Oh, that's going to be hard next round. So with the breathing, what you can talk about is you don't want to hold your breath. I'll get a lighter bell here. So we're breathing. We want to make sure that we don't breathe into the chest here, because now we got this big open rib cage. I'm almost leaning back. I want to breathe in through the nose and almost expand like a giant tree trunk. So if you see a giant tree trunk that's cut off at the stump, you got roots going in all directions. So I want to breathe, and I want roots going basically from our ribs out in all directions to expand. So we're going to be rooted a little bit better, and that breath is going to hold us a little better. So we breathe in. You can exhale slightly, almost like you're blowing through a straw, but you don't want to lose your breath all at one time. Here, so you want to keep it, and you can SSSSS through the top of your mouth as you come to elbow extension and punch the bell out at the top. We got one more set of these presses, and then we're going to move to a lower body movement. Again, if you're only using one bell, all you're going to do is you've got 6 strips on the right. You'll put it down, you'll clean it. You've got 6 on the left. That's totally fine. As long as we're getting our 12 reps in, that's what we're looking for. Okay, set 3. I almost didn't get the very last rep up on that set, so we're going to see how this one goes. Big breath. Get rooted. 1, 2, okay. Oh, that's hard. So being seated is way harder than standing. You don't really get to incorporate the lower body, like squeezing the glutes, squeezing the quads as tight as you can. A lot of midsection is engaged there. It would be even more so if we were seated on the ground, what's called a Z press with my legs out. But for today, I wanted to work on the seesaw press. So we're done with the pressing here for now. We're going to move to a lateral lunge. So move this bench out of the way. A straight lie to everybody. We're not moving to a lateral lunge. We're moving to double cleans. Straight up lie to you. I apologize. So what we're going to do is we are going to clean for reps of 15. If you can't do 15, do 12. If you can't do 12, do 10. If you can't do 10, do 8. If you can't do 8, do 5. So the double clean is just like the single clean. We're going to start with the bell out in front for our first rep. I will take both thumbs back towards the bum. If I'm only using one bell, back towards the bum. This hand mimics. So with 2 bells back, I'm going to drive my feet into the ground, pull my elbows back, and I'm going to get to this rack position here. But for today, I'm just going to do continuous reps. So I'm going to clean it. I'm going to pull my elbows back, allow the bells to rotate around my hand. As soon as they make contact with my wrists, I'm going to make them go back around my hand into another hinge. So I'll show you what this looks like with a pair of 16s here, so I'm not just crushing myself. So the double clean looks like this. We'll make sure we're about a foot away from the bell. I like to push my hips back. You don't have to do it. A lot of people get too crazy and they chop and whatnot. I personally do like to push it back because it reminds me to drive my hips back into a hinge instead of just reaching forwards towards the bells. So I do like to push my hips back a little bit into my hinge, and the hips go back, which allows the torso to fall forwards. So I'm sitting into this hip pocket here. I'm going to drive or lean the bells towards me. You can hold them, there's a couple different ways. We'll go over that later. So the clean, hike it, 1, 2, 3, 4. When you're done, put it down. If you're like, I'm not there yet, you can clean it, put it all the way down to the floor, and repeat. That is going to take a little bit more effort because you have to dead stop and then create power Again, that's okay. So we're gonna go for 15. I'll do a set facing you, do a set facing sideways, and we'll just move from there. Making sure that we're breathing in through the nose, on the back, on the way up at hip extension, not, we'll talk about that. That's biomechanical breathing versus anatomical breathing. We'll talk more about that in a second. So, from here, lean the bells towards me. 2 big inhales through the nose, 15 reps. All right, there's our 15. We'll rest for about 45 minutes, 45 seconds to a minute. So I'll get my timer on here. So, when you are breathing, if you're breathing at the top of the movement, that is anatomically, when you're done, we want to breathe when the hips extend. That is biomechanically, when we get tall, that's going to help you be more powerful. It's going to help you to breathe and be more powerful for longer so that you don't feel like you are just getting crushed. I feel like I'm getting crushed a little bit because I'm basically outside. I got the doors open. It's been like 95 every day this week. It's been hot. So don't mind me breathing hard. All right, 3 seconds, we'll get started. Another 15, I'm gonna face this way so you guys can see the back of my hinge. So I'm not just letting my shoulders go forwards, I'm driving my hips back. 15 reps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I lost count. I think that may have only been 12. It's a little bit harder to count when I'm breathing hard. But even there, my breathing could have been better. So I was breathing a little late on the way up. It's not super detrimental. Like, don't let somebody tell you that because your breathing isn't perfect, that your practice sucks. It just helps, right? And it's just more beneficial than not. But if you're not doing it, like, there's so many rules surrounding hard style kettlebell skills that I think should just go away. You don't have to, like, if you want to swing with bent arms, do it. If you want to, rock when you swing, which is more sport style, do it. Who cares? Do what you enjoy. Just get the work done and just work out. There's so many barriers of entry to fitness these days. Just do something you enjoy, train hard, and then get better week over week. All right, so we got one more set. We will rest for just a little bit longer. Ideally, if during these rest periods, you're not talking the whole time like I am. It's just making me more tired. We'll give it about 10 more seconds. We'll do it again. So just know, during your practice with kettlebells, everyone thinks it's like high intensity all the time. Take your rest periods, train hard during your work periods so that you're not just tired in the first 10 minutes and you can keep going. All right. Set 3, I'm gonna do my best to count to 5, 10, and then 15. In reality, I'm gonna do my best. No one's gonna be perfect. I'm gonna try. I can barely count to 10 anyway, so 15 is it's quite an accomplishment regardless. All right, I'll get set up. My feet, because I have 2 bells, are a little bit wider than with 1 bell, so I'm a little bit beyond shoulder width. I will drive my hips back, grab the bells. I'm gonna try my best to do better on breathing at hip extension instead of at the top of the movement this time, even though I'm freaking sweating right now. Lats are tight. 5. 14, may have been 15. Either way, we're staying powerful. Put them down. 24s. The thing I love about doubles is 124 may not feel super heavy, but if you double it up, you got a 48, 106 pounds. So you're just slinging 106 pounds around without having the bells to be huge. Because the 48 that I have is humongous. So here's the 106 pound bell here. It's freaking enormous. I think if you have 2 bells, it's just more efficient, right? These are way easier to move than this. This is huge, especially if you're squatting, you're deadlifting, you're still moving the same amount of weight. It's just dispersed a little bit differently. So we got our upper body push done. We got our lower body pull done. So those are our big 2 movements there. We're gonna move back into a lateral lunge now, since I lied to everybody earlier about doing it. And what we can do is we can have 2 bells in the middle, down. If you're like, whoa, this is way too much, we can take it to one side. I kind of forgot to show you guys with 1 bell what it looked like as the clean. So if, in retrospect, if you're watching this on YouTube, if you're doing the cleans, or next time you do this workout, you're doing the cleans, you can always do 5 on the right, 5 on the left, 5 on the right, 5 on the left, 5 on the right, 5 on the left. That would just look like this. You put it down and you switch to the opposite hand. So the lateral lunge, I'll show you with light bells. We're gonna have them underneath us. We're gonna try to get as much range of motion as we can. So we're gonna have a much wider than shoulder width. We're gonna lean to the left, allow this foot to come up here, and then back down. My range of motion here isn't super awesome. I'm currently working on getting better hip mobility. So if the bells get all the way to the floor, that's fine. If they don't, that's fine. If you feel like you could do this with more range, you could always move 1 bell to this position, to the goblet, or you could move it to the rack and just do one side. So if you're just using 1 bell, you can goblet it, you can rack it, or you can hold it in the middle. Whatever is comfortable to you. I'm gonna have my 24s down in the middle. Kind of like the seesaw. I'm going from side to side. I'm gonna do 10 to 12 reps. I'm gonna see what happens when I'm in it. I'm gonna shoot for 12. So 10 is the ceiling, 10 is the floor, 12 is the ceiling here. All right, so movement 3, I'm gonna get wider than shoulder width. My toes are angled. I would recommend them have angled. If you can keep them straight, that's awesome. Personal preference. It's not gonna change the movement that much. So I'm gonna pick these bad boys up. I'm gonna make sure that my shoulders are in my back pockets. I'm not gonna squeeze them together and try to puff my chest out. I'm just gonna have them down. My neck's gonna be tall, my crown of my hat is gonna be up. So I'm gonna come to one side. And basically what we're doing here, it's basically like a single leg squat. Your hips are gonna go backwards a little bit, but we're really pressing that foot into the ground. I think that was 10. I'm gonna stick with 10. Again, these rep ranges are a little arbitrary. If you're only getting 3, 4, it might be too heavy. If you have the ability to do 40 on each side, at that point it's probably too light. So when you're picking your bell size, or you're doing it at the gym, test it out, do it a couple times, and it's like, ooh, this is gonna be hard for 10 reps. That's probably the right weight. Ooh, I don't know if I can do this for 2 or 3, probably too heavy. I could do this all day, it's too light. So it'll take about a minute. I'm just letting my stopwatch run here. So it's 9:28. This is gonna be more like a 45-minute workout. We started, I think we did the warm up and then we started working out at about 9:10. Started actually moving. So we're about 19 minutes in. We're on our third movement. We've gotten a lot done so far. You should be breathing heavy. Try to control your breath as much as possible. Hopefully you're not basically outside in the heat like I am, but you're gonna be fine. You're gonna crush it. All right, set 2. If you want to pick them up first, then get to a wide stance, whatever is most comfortable for you. If picking them up in that wide stance isn't comfortable. So for instance, I'm gonna face this way so you guys can see this movement from the side. We'll pick it up kind of like a regular deadlift in the middle. Get to a wide stance. That for me feels kind of awkward, so it's just whatever, personal preference. I'm gonna make sure my shoulders stay down and I stay tall. And then as I shift on one side, my hips are going slightly back, my knee bends. I'm allowing the toes, if I'm going left, my right toes come slightly off the ground. I'm rocking into that heel. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Whew. All right, we got one more. Basically single leg squat. I mean, I could get more range if you had the bells in a goblet or in a rack. The ability to get more range of motion there is going to be there. So for instance, if you just watch that, what I just did, and now I have this in the rack position, again, with wrist and elbow stacked, and that nice Nike check versus the V, and I do the same thing, I'm probably going to get a little bit more range here into that hip than I did with the bells. It makes it a little bit harder on one leg, but for me, I'm working on my mobility outside of this workout. I want to try to challenge the leg a little bit more with weight today. You don't always have to challenge it with weight. Do whatever. Even if I was using a 12 or 14 kilogram bell, 20 to 30 pounds, and I had it in the rack, that would be challenging for me to get into that deep range of motion. So just do what you feel is challenging you more, what can keep you maybe a little bit more pain-free with the back. This shouldn't hurt the back. If it does, either drop me a comment or just change the variation. That's fine. You don't always have to just stick to it if you're hurting. All right, we got one more. I'm gonna try and move at a pretty consistent pace from side to side this time. All right. After this set, we'll take about 2 or 3 minutes, and then we'll get into our complex at the end of the day, which is gonna be something that you guys are gonna like. It's gonna be pretty challenging. Heart rate's gonna get up real fast. We're only gonna do it for a couple minutes. It'll probably crush me into oblivion, but that's okay. We're gonna get it done. last set here, I'm gonna get my wide stance first, and then I'm gonna pick the bells up. That just feels better for me. So I pick them up, shoulders are in the back pockets, and what I mean there is like, I'm not shrugged up. I wanna make sure my shoulders, my ears are as far away from each other as they can be. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Woo! All right, we're done with that. We'll take a couple minute break and we'll get into our complex. So, something that if you're working with bells at home or at the gym, you're like, man, this is crushing my hands. I am sweaty, my hands are ripping. Something that you can do is you can get some chalk. If you're at home or if your gym allows it, I'd encourage you to use just regular chalk. I got this from Bear Complex. It comes in a block. All you do, make sure your hands are dry, and you just take this. I'm gonna rub it on my fingers where my calluses are. I'm just gonna get a little extra because I like being a little extra. That's fine. This will, especially when you're sweaty, it will increase the friction on your hands. So just understand that if you use chalk, you might have to keep reapplying chalk. You can also apply chalk to the bells if they're super slick and they're slipping out of your hands. Or if you're in a gym setting and they're like, no chalk, like where we train at Motion in South Park and in Myers Park, we don't have actual chalk. We will have liquid chalk. So this is Black Widow liquid chalk. You can make a ton of different, there's a ton of different brands. Wipe this hand off. So all you do, shake it up. Just gonna squirt some in my hand. About this much. And then I'm just gonna wipe my hands together slightly, not a ton of pressure. About 15 seconds. And then I'm just gonna waft them from side to side. Up and down. Now, if you're in a gym setting and it's got like the tile floors, don't go up and down because you don't want, if it's still kind of liquidy, you don't want to like slam it on the floor. Just wave it around. That chalk's going to dry on your hands. And then once it's dry, it should be white. That's the liquid chalk. Again, you can get this anywhere. You can get it on Amazon. You can also get the regular chalk on Amazon or wherever. Again, I just got this from Bear Complex. Kirk, the owner at Matt, actually, the founder, actually gave me this. I've had that for a while. So that's something that he gave me to use. So that's chalk. You're probably going to need it if your hands start to rip, anything like that. We're going to get into our actual two-bell complex. So we're going to do row, we're going to clean, we're going to squat, and then press all the way to the top, rack it, put it down, and repeat. So I'll show you with light bells first before I start putting a lot of effort in here. And what we're going to do is we're going to build in reps. We're going to try to build up to 5. So that last round is not going to be fun. So from here, it's going to be row. We'll have to jump our feet back a little bit. We will clean it. We'll squat it, press it, put it down. Now, when we go to 2, it'll be 1, 2, jump back, 1, 2, 1, 2, put them all the way down. So when you put them down, make sure you have a wide stance. We'll put them all the way back down. So the way this is going to work is we're going to take 30 seconds in between each one. We're going to work up to 5. We're going to see if we can work back down from 5. But to be honest, I doubt it. We might, A, run out of time, or B, run out of juice. One of the two. So I'm going to get my 24s. I'm going to go ahead and start my timer. So if you're working along, just know I will make sure that we are resting the adequate amount of time. So again, 1 row, 1 clean, 1 thruster or squat to press overhead. All right, good luck. Get these other bells out of the way. Anytime you're practicing with bells, just get everything else out of the way. Nothing behind you. 1 row, 1 clean, 1 thruster. Work our way up to 5. Here we go. All right, that's the easy round. That should be pretty simple. We should be fine. That should tell you just a little bit about like, oh man, when I am going into my next round, how am I going to feel? I'm going to try my best not to talk so I can save a little bit of energy. All right, I got 5 seconds. 2. Not bad. Not bad at all. I'm going to use regular chalk. That's what I like best. My bells are a little sweaty right now. So you can chalk those bad boys up if you'd like. If you guys have any questions, just always drop them. Drop them below. I'll do my best to answer them when we get to it. All right, number 3 in 3 seconds. Back to the cleans. Thrusters. Put them down. All right, we're going into 4. 9:40. So we got a little bit of time left. Whew. Again, if 3 felt like you're dying, you can stick with 3, or you can go back to 2, and then back to 1. As you're doing kind of this ladder, wherever you feel like your heart rate is spiking, just stop there and then back down. We'll rest for about, I think, 5 more seconds. 4. This one's going to be tough. 5 is, not going to lie, it's going to suck a little bit. That's right. We're going to get through it. It's going to be good. We're going to be better because of it. Number 4. Cleans. Thrusters. 3. Woo! Always put them down safe. Always put them down safe in between your legs if you can. Preferred style for me. Damn. All right. Last one of the day. We got 5 reps. Oh man, I'm hurting. It's hot out here. Hot. Whew. Might take a little bit, might take an extra 10 seconds here, to be honest. That's okay. Because I want to make sure we get these 5 really good reps. All right. 5 rows, 5 cleans, 5 thrusters. I know I'm a little bit off time. That's okay. You don't have to be perfect. We're just gonna get the work done. We can get a little bit better next week. 5, 5, and 5. Last 15 reps of the day. Whew, we'll get it done. You can do hard things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cleans. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thrusters. Last 5 of the day. Best 5 of the day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Heck yeah. That's it. 43 minutes. We got it done. That's good. That's some good stuff. Good workout. You don't have to be in the gym forever. Our warm-up was a little short. Again, for me, I don't want to make these videos super long. And also, I've been moving. I've had clients all morning. So, I was warm coming into it. But no, that was awesome. Keep following along. We're doing more videos. I'm going to do more technique videos on the YouTube. Check that out over there. Just make sure, if you need chalk, this is Black Widow. This is Bear Complex. The kettlebells that I'm using, these are Fray Fitness Non-competition bells. Or the competition bells, I have some Rogue and I have some Tacfit as well. Both good companies, just whatever you like. So let me know what you guys want to see next and we'll get it done. Nice job today.